Two things you need to know about me for this story. One of them is that I am not famous for keeping my cool. I may have learned it in the last few years, but a few years ago, I was the most excitable and uncool person you could have met. And the other thing you need to know about me is that I took my driving license quite late. I was way over 30. I was very proud of myself and I loved driving. I used to get in the car as often as I could just to drive somewhere, just in order to enjoy the journey. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. This particular incident happened when I was on my way to Augsburg from Munich, which is about a 35 or 50, I don't even know how far it is anymore. It's a short journey, it's a 45-minute journey. And I was going to meet a wonderful singer who came all the way from the Philippines, now lives in Japan, and we met in Poland, and she was going to give a concert, and I thought, I have to see her. So driving quietly down the motorway from Munich to Augsburg, the thing that I always dread, I needed to stop somewhere urgently, and there wasn't Tankstelle. I can't remember all these words in English, my God. There wasn't a place to drive off the motorway to take a pee. That's what I needed to do. But I found a lay-by and I shot into it, and I shot into the bushes, and I had my pee and I was feeling great, and that was wonderful. And I came out again and got in the car and realized that the speeding up lane to get onto the motorway again was not that long. But I knew I had a nifty little car. It was an Auto Bianchi, and I thought that will have enough acceleration. It was rush hour, and there was a lot of traffic leaving Munich that day. But I waited a bit, and I waited a bit longer, and I knew there will be a gap somewhere, and somebody will let me in, and sometime I'll be able to get out of this lay-by. And I waited and waited for several minutes until I thought, you know what? I'll just drive out and there will be a space. I don't know if this goes under the heading of keeping your cool or just switching your brain off. I think I probably just switched my brain off. I sped out onto the motorway, foot to the floor, accelerating, to find out that my car didn't have as much acceleration as I thought it did. And this was a section of the motorway with just 2 lanes. And there was a hard shoulder, but it wasn't really the width of a car. So here I was with 2 wheels on the hard shoulder and 2 wheels on the grass. And anybody that knows about acceleration and traction knows that this cannot go well. But Silvana, you talked about having the world's greatest team. And Elizabeth, you talked about guardian angels. That evening, I know my guardian angel stepped in. I could feel the car as steady as it's never felt ever before or since, as though somebody was holding the right side of the car to stop me going off onto the grass, where I would have landed up in the woods, and we don't want to go there. And I had the greatest, amazing, world-class team with me on the road that day, because all the people in the right-hand lane gradually sped and gradually slowed and just cleared enough space for me to shift in and line up with the rest of the traffic. And the funny thing about this is that not for 1 second did I have any fear or any emotion whatsoever. I got to Augsburg, I parked my car, I went into the concert, I spoke to them afterwards. I thought I'd better tell somebody about this because it's pretty dramatic, and I do like my bit of drama. So I told the organizer, I told the singer, I told a couple of people, and they all went, "Oh, God, weren't you scared?" And I thought, funnily enough, no. On that particular evening, I wasn't scared. And I never got the shakes that you sometimes get as a reaction. I don't know how I kept my cool on that evening. I think I just switched off. But what I did do was I stopped driving on motorways. I stuck to driving around town or short journeys. And if I did have to go on the motorway, only in the right-hand lane. And I made sure that I went to the loo before I left. And I made sure that I only went to official stopping places. I never went on to a lay-by again. And a couple of years later, I gave up driving altogether. That was about 10 years ago. And funnily enough, that was one of the best things I ever did, just giving up driving. Because now I let everybody else do the driving, and I'm cool in the back of the car or on the train or wherever it is. I no longer have to go through all the terror of getting it right on the motorway. Because looking back, I was always glad when it was over and I could talk about it. The thrill of driving was more the thrill of arriving without having killed myself or anybody else yet. That was the second time that I was in danger of killing myself and a number of other people. By rights, I should have been dead about 5 times. I shouldn't even be here now. But on that evening, because not only myself, but all the people on the motorway with me kept their cool, I'm still here. Thank you, universe, and thank you, angels, and thank you.